I'm not sure if you heard, but the next reliable coronavirus test could involve having your armpit sniffed by a dog. That's right, dogs might be able to be used to test the coronavirus. One of my listeners sent me a preprint article this week that I found too cool and interesting not to share with you. You see, dogs have been trained to help humans in all aspects of society for many years, from hunting and protection to sniffing out bombs and drugs. Dogs have also been used in the medical space, from detecting things like epileptic seizures and helping patients who have PTSD, to even detecting various forms of cancer. And recently in France, researchers have been trying to train dogs to detect the SARS-CoV-2 virus in patients. Specifically, the researchers were able to train the dogs to discriminate between the sweat of a COVID-19 positive patient from that of a COVID-19 negative patient. But how could smell be used to detect pathogens? The idea behind this study is that the SARS-CoV-2 virus, which is the virus that causes COVID-19, might give off specific metabolites that could be carried by sweat. If then a dog could be trained to detect these specific metabolites, they could distinguish between the sweat of a COVID-19 positive patient and a COVID-19 negative patient, because the COVID-19 negative patient would not have these metabolites. It's kind of like how dogs could be used to detect drugs in a backpack. The dog is trained on the scent of the drugs and then could be used to distinguish between a backpack that has or does not have these drugs. And that's exactly the principle that these researchers used. The group took 18 Belgian Malinois Shepherds and, using positive reinforcement, trained them to detect the virus. The dog's nose was placed in an apparatus with a sample in it, and if the dog could correctly detect the sample, it would get a treat. 8 of the dogs completed training, and once they completed training, they were placed in a room with multiple apparatuses in it. The dog and its handler would come into a room, and when the dog detected the positive sample, it would signal to its handler by moving into a certain position. The researchers were strict, and in order for the trial to be considered successful, the dog had to go straight to the positive sample and notify its handler. If the dog so much as lingered around the negative sample, the trial would be considered a failure, even if the dog ended up choosing the correct sample. In the 368 trials that these 8 dogs completed, 4 of the dogs had a 100% success rate of choosing the positive sample, while the other 4 dogs had an 83 to 94% success rate. Something actually happened in this study that makes you realize just how reliable these dogs are. The dogs kept going to these 2 negative samples, and so the researchers got suspicious of these samples and had them retested using the RT-PCR test that I talked about in my antibody testing video. It turns out that these 2 negative samples actually ended up being false negatives, and the 2 patients that they came from upon retesting tested positive for the SARS-CoV-2 virus. Papers have come out suggesting that dogs and maybe other animals like household cats might be susceptible to SARS-CoV-2. Now, this finding is contentious, and some researchers say that despite the fact that they might be susceptible to the virus, their viral load's not very high, so they're not going to really be significantly affected by it, and they might not be really contagious. But just to be sure, take good care of your good boys. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed this kind of content where I take a single paper and I go a little bit more into depth in it, let me know in the comment section below, and if you ever have a paper that you want me to read or you want me to review, don't hesitate to send it to me. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe for new content every single week. My name is Fields, and as always, stay healthy, stay positive, and have a great day.